Hi, this is James of Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a look at Set a Watch, Swords of the Coin, published by Rock Banner Games. And it's going to be a 1 to 4 player game. We're going to be trying to go through 9 locations and survive. Now, a couple caveats when you go into there. You'll see some of the subtitles where I need to make some clarifications on there. One is that I forgot to mention that when you get to the 9th location, all the monsters in the deck box there that got placed because we didn't defeat them in each round, we will add to the line and the final location have to fight. So it makes it much more difficult. Gives you much more of a reason why you have to take out those monsters. Now, the other thing was that the first and second monsters in those lines, the first one can be attacked by melee, the second one needs to be ranged. So I goofed that up with the golem. I was going over too quickly how to do the things, but just keep that in mind. Let's go ahead down the table here and I'll show you how to play Set a Watch, Swords of the Coin. Alright, so this is Set a Watch, Swords of the Coin, and it's going to be a standalone expansion. You don't need any of the other expansions or the base game to play this. It's just everything you need is here. And you can see you got a good bit of components with this game. Now, there are rules at the end of the rule book here that are going to show you how to incorporate the other expansions in the base game into this to create new adventures, to make it more variety, and some of them are more difficult to complete. So this is a game where you can play 1 to 4 players. You're always going to play 4 adventurers no matter what the player count is. So if you play in odd numbers, you might have someone with more than one character than any other player, or if you play 2 players, each player is going to have 2. But anyway, so you're always going to play 4 characters, and in this one you're going to be trying again to get to the 9th location and surviving, and if you do, you will win the game. So game setup for this is pretty darn simple. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to go through this set of heroes. Now, if you have some of the expansions, you can add some of the other heroes in, but you could do the Artificer, and each of these is going to have 3 slots that you're going to be able to put your cards in. Each of these characters have 5 different cards, so at any one time you're only going to have 3 available. And this is going to show you what type of dice that this character is going to have available to roll. So the Artificer here can craft items. So you can draw a number of cards from the item deck equal to the value of the dice spent to activate this ability. Keep one of them and return the rest to the top of the item deck in the order of your choosing. So this is going to be an ability that you can use when you go to the camp. And each round, one person has to go to the camp, or one character technically, and each character can only go up to twice. So there's going to be 9 rounds. The 9th round, no one goes to camp and everyone fights. So everyone's going to go to the camp at least twice, at least the character-wise. So we have the Artificer there. We have the Monk. The Monk's going to also be using D6s, and it has a meditate ability. Upgrade a single dice twice, are 2 from your dice once. So a D6 to a D8, D8 to a D10. So this guy could become more powerful over time. So really cool camp ability. And here's the Barbarian. Now the Barbarian is going to use the D10s there, so it's going to be super powerful. Primal Might. Choose one of your exhausted abilities and replace it with an equipped action, and resolve an equipped action, then refresh the just equipped ability. So that's really cool. So they can refresh up to twice. One thing I didn't mention is if you have every character has an exhaust ability, you lose the game. Then we also have the Hunter, and this one's pretty neat. And it's actually, I like playing this one just about all the time with the this is going to have the D8s here all the time with the expansion, because you can collect up to 3 trophies, which are going to be monsters that the hunter directly killed only, and you collect up to 3 of them, and then when you go to camp you can sell them and get coins. So discard up to 3 of your trophies to the graveyard, then collect the coins equal to the total damage of the just discarded trophies. The other nice thing is here is if you collect these trophies, they're not going to come back to get you later on, because you will be reshuffling that horde deck later on. The Heretic here, this one's going to use Seal, and it'll be able to search either the graveyard or the creature deck for an unhallowed card of your choice and place it at the bottom of that unhallowed deck. Then if you search the creature deck, shuffle that deck. So that's a good one to have around too. And then we also have the witch. So the witch is going to use dark magic. Choose an adventure or refresh one of their ability cards. Then either add the top card of the creature deck to the horde, or draw an additional creature from the creature deck and turn it, line up during the watch phase. So that's the witch. And then we got these really cool colorful dice that you got with the game. So you're going to pick 4 characters. And once you pick your characters, you're going to get these abilities. So these are going to be the witch's abilities. Here would be the monk's abilities. And here would be Pack of Doom. That's going to be the heretic. So let's say I did the barbarian here. I will shuffle these up. So one of the characters will be the barbarian. I'll shuffle these up, and I will place 2 of them out randomly and the other one exhausted. And the 2 off to the side here that they can pick up later. So let's say the other one I wanted was the hunter. So I'll go ahead and grab the hunter's cards here. And I'll do the same thing. Pick 2, put 1 exhausted. And the other 2 will be available later. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to put the dice, the 3 dice that are available for this character, on the character. All right, and then we need to pick 2 more. So I'll go do that in a second. So we have up to 4 characters, but that's basically character setups. They'll be set up the same way. See the dice they're supposed to take, put them on them, put 3 of their abilities on them with 1 exhausted. We also have a merchant deck in this one where you're going to be able to get cool things, purchase cool things in the game to help you out. You'll shuffle up this deck, set it over here, and place 3 of them out. Okay. Next, we could set up the locations. And the location setup's pretty easy, but you're going to need to look at 3 different things when you do this. So there's going to be final locations. And if you've played the base game, you know there's only 1 final location. But in this game, there's going to be 2 final locations. So you can go ahead and pick one and place it face down. So that's going to start the location deck that you're going to go through. Then you're going to find all the cards with this symbol and set them aside. And then you're going to find all the cards that don't have a symbol, and you're going to shuffle them up. You'll shuffle these up, and you'll draw 8 cards out. And you'll put those 8 on there. Now, the other final location that you didn't pick, that's going to be removed from the game. But these location cards that you shuffled up and got 8 out of that you didn't use are going to get shuffled into these respite locations, the one with a little camp here. So we'll shuffle them up, and they'll go inside the box where it says unused locations. So they'll go right here. So again, this, I didn't mention this, but the lid and the inside of the box is used as your game board. Additionally, you're going to see these locations with these little coin pictures. You're going to place out coins on each of those locations. You'll gain them if you do those activities. You'll place the campfire on 7. Now, if you want to make the game more difficult, you can roll a d6, and that's where your campfire will be at. You'll put out these campfire tokens here. These are going to show, there has a 1 side and a 2 side. That's going to show when a character goes to camp, they'll pick up those tokens and they'll flip it over when they've gone a second time. All right, so lastly here, you're going to also set up the horde deck here. So we have this horde deck. You're going to separate all these ones of the normal cards out from the ones that say unhallowed. So those will be separated out. Next, inside of this deck, there's going to be 2 acolytes. Take them out. And there's going to be these summon cards. You're going to take all the summon cards out. Now, this deck here, we're going to go ahead and shuffle this one up. And we're going to take 28 cards out of the main deck. So this is not the unhallowed deck. So we'll shuffle this up here. All right, so once we get this shuffled up, we're going to deal out 28 cards. Now, all the other remaining creature cards will be going back out of the game here. So you could normally you would put them in the box, but the box is the game board. So just somewhere out of the game is where they're going to go. All right, so we have our 28 cards. We have our 28 cards. We'll set the other ones outside the game here. And we're going to take our 2 Acolyte cards, and we're going to put them in. All right. Then we're going to go ahead and give this another shuffle. So we shuffle in the Acolyte cards. And then we're going to, which I'm not going to super neatly do this, we're going to go separate these into 2 even piles. Then we're going to take a look at our summon cards and see how difficult we actually want to make the game. If we use 1 summon card, it's going to be easy. 2 is normal, 3 is hard, and 4 is insane. So we're going to go ahead and just go with 2 summon cards. So I'll put 1 here and 1 here. Now you're going to evenly place this, but if you had an odd number, you would put the higher number in the one that's going to be hit first. So we'll shuffle this deck here, which will have the normally lower number of summons if we're going to be doing that. And then we're going to go ahead and shuffle this deck, and we're going to place it on top. And these are going to be the monsters that we face in the game itself. All right, so now we have these unhallowed cards. And now what we're going to do for these unhallowed cards is we're going to shuffle these guys up, and we're going to place one on the horde spot up here. Then we're going to go ahead and deal out 7 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Place it face up. And these are going to be the unhallowed cards that we're going to have for the game. The rest of the unhallowed cards don't go in this game, and they get removed from play. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and set up 2 more characters here, and then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to start, and I'm going to show you how to play this game. All right, so now that's set up, we're going to go through a game. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to go to a new location every round until we get to the 9th location or die. So to start out the game, we're going to go ahead and flip out a location. Now these locations have a couple different stats on them. One is going to be reducing your fire level, and the other one's going to be how many minions come out to kill you, and then it's a ability here. So this one here, on the first turn, you're not going to reduce the campfire, so we don't have to worry about that -2. However, we're going to be fighting 7 monsters soon. And each human creature in the line gains +2. So the line is going to be what we're fighting. So we don't want a lot of human creatures in there. And we're going to put that out, and we need to defeat that location. Then we're going to go ahead and roll dice. So every hero is going to go ahead and roll their dice, and these are going to be the dice that they're going to have available for the turn. And you're going to use these dice and their abilities to try to pick who you want to have go into the camp first. So normally I'll say if I'm playing with a monk, the monk is the first one I normally want to have go to camp. But you don't have to have the monk go to the camp, but he's normally the first one I want to go to the camp because I want to sort of upgrade these die. So we're going to go ahead and pick someone. I'm going to go ahead and say the monk is going to go to the camp first. So when you go to the camp, the player who goes to the camp can refresh one of their spent actions there. So he's full up on health now because these are actually your health. And you can do the various different camp actions. So I can use the character's special ability. If I use that, I'll be upgrading a die. But it'll stay on the same result though. But I could upgrade the die, which is something I definitely would want to do. So this would go, and it would now become a D8. So a D8 of 1. All right, so that's pretty cool. The other things you can do is you can go to this chop firewood. So you can put any die you want there, and you can go ahead and chop firewood. And if you chop firewood, you'll move the campfire up 2. Now the reason why you want to move the campfire up is because this determines how many monsters in the line you can see. So right now we can see 2. If it goes down all the way down here, we'll only be able to say 1. And we can never let the campfire go out. So it becomes a mandatory action to raise the campfire. And if we're not at camp, then people have to start exhausting abilities to be able to push that up. So that's chop firewood. The other things you can do is scout ahead. When you do scout ahead, you'll be able to draw and look at the top 2 cards of the creature deck. For each card, return it to either the top or the bottom of the creature deck. So I could take a look at the top 2 cards right here. And I can pick to have them stay on the top, or I can have them go on the bottom, or I can pick one to be on the top or on the bottom, depending on how bad I think they actually are. Now this one here, if I wanted to place another die, it'd have to be greater than the previous one. So I'd do 5 and 6 if I want to do that. The other thing you could do is you can go to heal. If you place a die in heal, you could pick one of the adventurers and you can unexhaust their exhausted ability, so heal them up. You can also do any of these runes things. Now for the runes, we're going to just pretend I rolled 2 5s. You have to have pairs to at least do it. And you could do doubles or triples. If you did triples, you'll be able to do all 3 actions. If you do doubles, you only can do 2 of them. So the actions you could do in here is going to be seal. Remove an unhallowed from the graveyard and place it at the bottom of the unhallowed deck. So I can remove an unhallowed from the graveyard and place it in so the graveyard hasn't happened yet, but normally we'll put the unhallowed over here, but we'll have a graveyard of creatures, which I'll show you, and I can get rid of an unhallowed that way. I could do vanquish, remove the top card of the horde from the game, so I could vanquish this card out of the game and it's just gone. That's really, really good. Also, I could bolster. All adventurers on watch may choose to reroll any number of dice. So it's not the person on the campfire, it's all the other players which will be fighting here in soon. So that's how that works. You get doubles or triples. If you have triples, you do all of them, which is pretty cool. After this, we have a new phase that wasn't in the base game, and that's the merchant phase. In the merchant phase, we could take the money we gained from going to different spots on that character, and we can buy different cards. So this one's going to cost 1 coin, and this one has a discard ability. Some have a permanent ability, some have an action ability that requires dice and stuff. So this one is a discard ability. Defeat an undead creature in the first position. So if I would want, and I said like I'm going to, if I went there and let's say I chopped wood, I would have had a coin, and I could have spent that coin to gain this card to be able to use later on. So that's going to be the merchant phase. But at the end of the merchant phase, 2 things are going to happen. One is we're going to add a coin on every location. That's not a 3 actually, just a 1 here. They can have a 3 coin here, but we want to make sure we put them on the one side that didn't have a die. So there could be multiple coins on each of those locations. And we're also going to flip over the next card for the merchant row. Now, if this was all full, I would pick one to cover over. And if I purchase that one covering over, I can purchase the one behind it too. So that's how that works. So now we're going to go into the watch phase. Now the watch phase is going to be where we're going to be fighting these monsters. So all the other characters that rolled their dice are going to get ready to fire at these monsters. Now the number of monsters we're going to put out is the number on the location. So if I look at this, I can take this number and I put out this number of monsters. One thing I need to go back really quick before we do the watch here is I forgot the locations. So you have this check map that I didn't mention and this equip action that I didn't mention. Equip is going to be where you swap one ability of your current adventure with an unused ability. So notice you had like 2 abilities that you didn't have in the game. You could swap these in. Now if you swap them for an activated one, it stays activated. But if you swap it for an exhausted one, it has to come in exhausted. So just keep that in mind. Sorry, I missed that one. And the other one is going to be check map, which is going to take a 4+ die. So you have to have a die of 4 or higher to do. Check map is one of the most important ones in the game, I think, because it can save you. So you get to look at the top card of this, and you look at the top card of the locations inside the box. You're going to take a look at these locations, and you're going to pick one. So here's like the Fortress of Asylum, or I could go to this hidden path. I actually, even though this takes away more firewood, this one's pretty nice. This one here at the end of the watch phase, each adventurer gains 1 coin for each unspent die. I probably won't have unspent die, so I'm actually going to say I want this one, which is the original one there, and this one will go down to the bottom. So sorry I forgot about those 2 options you can have when you go to a camp, but those are 2 options. All right, so let's get into the fight here. So I'm going to deal out 7 cards because that's how many the location says that I need to have, and this is going to form a line. You can make the line anywhere. I'm just making it over here. And then we're going to take a look and check to see how many of these monsters we can see. So right now it's going to be 2. So I'll flip over these two monsters here, and we're going to take a look and see what they got going. This one has an ongoing ability. Abilities can only be activated when the die result of 3 or higher. So that's not fun. And this one, Zombie Horde. Zombie health is increased by the creature's base health on top of the graveyard. So we have nothing on the graveyard. So right now it's at 8. We may want to just kill this guy. This one has a health of 6, and this is how much damage it's going to do to us if it makes it through to the end of the round. So we have our 9 dice that we can use to fight with. So in case of the Barbarian, I could just place this 8 on here and auto kill this zombie here. But we also have this ability problem here. So I have to be on 3s or higher to use abilities. Now when you use abilities, if you place a die on the ability, you'll get to use the ability here without exhausting it. You can additionally, without using a die, or even after you used a die to use an ability, you can use the ability again, but if you do, you'll have to put it to the exhausted side, which is taking away some of your life. So you're going to look at all these abilities in here. You're going to need to defeat 7 monsters. The Barbarian is pretty straightforward. I could just put the 8 on the 8, and this Zombie Horde goes and dies and goes to the top of the discard pile. This die is spent, so I'll put it over here. It was an 8. And then we're going to flip over the next card because, again, we have a campfire level of 2. And we'll move this line down. Now we're going to look at the new ongoing ability here for this monster. This monster here is increased by the total items equipped by the adventurers on watch. So we have 1, but he's not on watch, so it doesn't get increased. So he's still at 8. Now I can look at it, and I think maybe the Barbarian's just going to use their die to take out monsters. This one here is an 8, but I can use a 9, and this monster is immediately defeated, and we can go ahead and flip over the next one. So the next one here is going to be a coffin swarm rat. Rat swarm's health is increased by the number of unrevealed creatures in the line. So there's 3 unrevealed creatures right now. So that one's an 8. But we could say the Barbarian doesn't care. This is very overly simplificating it, but that guy dies. We'll go ahead and flip over the next card, and now we have this monster, the Wandering Giant. So we have all these other heroes that can now fight, and we could also activate these abilities like Expertise, passive ability. When resolving a direct attack, double the value of the dice against any creature type in your trophy collection, then discard the trophy. So we don't have any trophies yet, but we could be using this. We're going to keep on going until we defeat everything in the line or we run out of dice. So at the end, whatever's creatures are left, so let's say this creature was the only creature that's left after we've used our dice. What's going to happen is this creature here is a survivor. This creature here is going to deal damage, as in the case 1. We have to pick any character on watch here, and we have to exhaust 1 card. So we'll say the Barbarian, and then we're going to place this card into the Horde deck over here that's going to come at us at the end of the game. All right. Now we're going to keep on going through this game here. Everyone's going to get their dice back, and we're going to start a new round. To start a new round here, we're going to go ahead and flip over the next location, and in this case, we're going to reduce the campfire by 4. We're going to fight 7 monsters, and this is the effect that we're going to have for that round. We'll go through that round, and we're going to keep on going until everyone gets exhausted and we lose the game, or we make it to the final location. Now at the final location is going to be a little different. We're going to do everything like normal, except for there will be no watch. Everyone's going to fight at the final location. If we survive, we will win the game. So that's going to be how you play Set a Watch, Swords of the Coin. Thank you for watching.